Good afternoon. We're pleased to convene on a continuation of our Monday, April 8th meeting. This is, we're in the Peter Feeney Conference Room at the Cumberland County Courthouse. It's the 11th of April and noon time, and we have some unfinished business from our meeting of the 8th, and so we will proceed to it right after we again salute the Pledge of Allegiance. Ask anyone who would like to join us. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So voting matters that remain unresolved at this point. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the March 11.
So moved.
Meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Also, we have a consent agenda, and entertain a motion to approve that.
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items 19-021 through 19-026.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded, and just for the benefit of anyone who's watching and keeping score, those items include approval of the, which we do each month, of the sheriff's commissions for law enforcement, approval of some fee changes at the sheriff's office, and approval of contracts, one for the SAD number 6 contract for the next school year, approval of the appointment of the fire chief from the town of Old Orchard to our New Gloucester. What did I just say?
Old Orchard.
Old Orchard.
Old Orchard.
Wrong county, I think.
Wow. We made them a good offer. I don't know. They haven't responded. But, yeah, no, from New Gloucester to our center board of directors dispatch. And then we have a couple of proclamations: National Safety Telecommunications, National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, and National Correctional Officers Week. So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on any of these items? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we do have new business to conduct as well. And first, we'd like to recognize and conduct a public hearing concerning our annual community development block grant program. We have our director here, and we'll be pleased to hear from her and to hear her summary of what's up this year in that program.
Kristen Stiles, Community Development Director. I will try and go through this information as fast as possible for you guys today. Thank you for having this meeting for us. And we are here to discuss our annual action plan, and it's for our HUD entitlement funds for CDBG and our home program. This is our 13th year doing this in Cumberland County, and it's the 4th year of our 5-year consolidated plan. As required by HUD and part of our citizen participation plan, we have to have 2 public hearings. Today is the first public hearing. We also have a 30-day public comment period. So if any member of the public would like to speak today or turn in public comment, they are welcome to do so. We'll also be having a second public hearing on May 13th. I'm just going to quickly go over our action plan for you guys and what our budget is. As you guys know, as in past years, CDBG program is broken down into several different buckets. We have the South Portland bucket, which is the South Portland activities. They're set aside, and that's $381,000. We have Bridgeton, which is $154,000. And then we have our county activities. And these funds are for the 23 participating communities, and they compete competitively for them. And that is about $779,000. All of these our estimates right now because we haven't actually received our allocation from HUD, but we're expected to receive it hopefully next week. So by our May meeting, we should have actual hard numbers for you to vote on. The final bucket is our administrative bucket, and with these funds, we use them as administrative costs for Cumberland County. They're also used in South Portland and in Bridgeton. The South Portland program has a set of citizens that review and score their applications. They're then approved by the South Portland City Council. And some of the highlights from their program this year are continued public service programs like their emergency heating assistance, the domestic violence, and the Red Bank Community Center. They're doing 2 large infrastructure projects this year that are going to support affordable housing. And both of these affordable housing projects are new construction projects that we're really proud of. They're also using their funds to expand broadband in the Knightville neighborhood, which is a CDBG eligible neighborhood. And they're putting quite a bit of their funds into the Red Bank Community Center Park. They're doing a lot of improvements over there. In Bridgeton, their process is very similar to South Portland and the county. They have a group of citizens that look over their applications, review them, and score them. Their Board of Selectmen approved their allocation at their March meeting. They also have some public service programs that they're continuing to fund again this year. They have their Navigator program, which helps people find housing and connects them to food services that they need. They have a backpack program, which fills children's backpacks with food to take home for the weekend or holidays. And they have 2 community meals and a food pantry that they'll be funding this year. They are also making several capital improvements to town-owned buildings. They have their community center building, which they'll be making quite a few improvements to, and they're also going to be putting a playground there. The community center building is also the location where DHHS holds their family visitations, so it's really nice that they'll have a playground for children to play on there. They also have their recreation center building, which is where we held our meeting this past summer. And if you went into the bathrooms, you'd see why they need to be renovated. We'll be fixing those. And they're also doing phase 3 of improvements to their ice rink. Their ice rink is used year-round for their rec program during the summer when it doesn't have ice in it as well. On the Cumberland County side, we have the 23 communities that participate in our competitive application. This year we had 9 members from various communities that participated on our scoring board, which we call the review team. Their names and additional information about the scoring process is available in your packets. With the all CDBG grants, HUD imposes a 15% social service cap. So if you look at that sheet you have, you can see that some of the social service activities scored higher than non-public service activities, but they're not being funded, and that's because of that cap. It's not because they weren't great projects that deserve funding. It's just because of that cap. The review team and the municipal oversight committee were both very happy with how the final allocations came out. The municipal oversight committee didn't have any questions or concerns about how the review team did their scoring, and we are really excited about a lot of the great projects we have going on this year. We're funding quite a few food banks, which we think will be really helpful for our more rural communities here in Cumberland County. And I'm going to stop here, and I'm happy to answer any CDBG questions, and then we can move on quickly to the home section of our annual allocation.
Does anybody have any questions?
Very thorough. Thank you.
Press forward.
Great. For our home budget, in past years, pretty much since we formed the Cumberland County City of Portland Home Consortium, which includes all 26 communities in Cumberland County, what we'll be doing there is instead of using 1/3 of our allocation on housing rehab, we're going to put 100% of our allocation towards new construction of affordable housing. And the reason we're doing this, we met with the City of Portland quite a bit about this, is the City of Portland currently is using 2 full-time staff and 1 part-time staffer to run the housing rehab program. And unlike CDBG with the home funds, you have to use a full home approach. So when they go in the home, if say the boiler's broken, they're not allowed to go in and just fix the boiler. They would have to fix the siding or the windows or the roof or any code violation that the house has, which in today's market is a huge problem because there's also a $15,000 cap per home. So you go into these homes that are falling apart, we can't fix them for $15,000. Then it becomes this administrative burden of proving why we're not able to fix it for $15,000, and then it has a snowball effect to it. So what ends up happening is it's costing us a lot of money, and very few houses are actually getting repaired. Unlike the CDBG side, where we can go in and, like we are doing this year, we can do weatherization, we can do senior upgrades to homes to help make them safer for seniors to live. We can put ramps on the outside of homes for homebound individuals. So what we're suggesting we do this year, and the City of Portland is on board with this, is taking all of those funds and just putting them directly into affordable housing development, which we all know we desperately need here in Cumberland County. And we're also very fortunate that we have really good housing developers here that are working on building affordable housing, mainly concentrated in our more urban part of Cumberland County, but we're trying to get it further out. With that said, we try and time the release of our home application around Maine Housing's QAP application. They're having a meeting this afternoon about when they'll be releasing that application. So we try and time it because people use the home funds as leverage funding to score higher on the QAP. So we'll be working on that. Yes.
Who requires the $15,000 cap?
HUD.
The federal requirement.
Yes. Well, it gets adjusted every year based on our location. It's kind of like an algorithm that they come up with of what is a reasonable cost for fixing a home. So it's not something that we have a lot of control over. So I think might be a different amount in different locations, but that's what ours is here.
I guess I'm just a little bit astonished that.
It's horrible.
That you have to completely
Yes.
eliminate all code violations to be able to donate anything.
Yes.
Or just.
Yes. So it makes sense in the fact that they don't just want somebody going in, putting in a boiler when the rest of the house is falling
understand
apart.
that, but the cap is.
Yes, but it's a situation of the market with the regulations are not matching up at all. So it's not only our program, I would say across the country, people are just eliminating their housing rehab programs with the home funds. It doesn't make any sense.
Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Well, in that case, we can have our public hearing. Anyone wish to speak on this item? Seeing none. Thank you very much. We'll see you next month.
May. Thank you, Kristen. Very, very
Yeah,
informative.
very good.
Very good.
Okay, so,
We need a vote on this?
No, not until May.
Not
no, that's right. We have another public hearing and then a vote in May. And as Kristen indicated, anyone who wishes to make a comment and couldn't be here today and can't make it next month, is free to submit a written comment. Additional new business. I'm thinking we need to consider going into executive session for a moment or two before we take up the next item. So can I now have a motion, please, for executive session related to 1 MRSA Section 4056 to receive bargaining guidance and also to review the terms of an agreement reached with the Cumberland County Communications Association.
So move.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It carries. We are now in executive session. And we're back. It's 12:42 on Thursday afternoon, and we have concluded our executive session business. At this time, I would entertain a motion for approval of the contract described in item 2019-028.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, approval for the labor contract, which has been negotiated. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, none, and it's unanimous. We have no other old business. We're pleased to have, in the person of both the county manager, all of the executive staff, and I don't know, for all I know, he's going to sweep up afterwards. Don Brewer, if you have any comments this month related to any business of the county, glad to hear from you.
Yes, Commissioners, I'm very pleased to be able to serve in this role today, this afternoon, on behalf of County Manager Jim Gailey and Alex Kimball, both of whom are on vacation. But I do not have any further comments.
I will say, when they take a vacation, some of them do it pretty big time. At least one of them is in the other side of the Atlantic, and
Yeah.
I lost track of where Jim was going, but it wasn't Old Orchard. So, yeah, that was-
Yeah, I think Jim he's going college scouting for his older son, so he's got an exciting trip.
And comments from county commissioners, Commissioner Wittonis
I don't have any.
Thank you.
and Commissioner Wood.
The only thing I have is the legislature has been very active. Jail funding has been one of the issues, and I'm pleased, at least from my position, having attended, that the committee for, criminal justice has decided to have a committee of the whole to look at overall jail funding going on into the future, which will probably transpire sometime this summer after they close down for the summer thing, and which means that that committee itself will actually develop the proposal, and they will draw on the resources that they have named, which the county commissioners and sheriffs and other people, the judiciary branch, et cetera, are part of it. So I think there's going to be some headway there, which is greatly needed. Thank you.
Commissioner James?
Just briefly, all of us here and those missing attended our strategic planning meeting at the end of March. I think it was March 28th. It was a great session where a lot of creative and good ideas for the future were discussed about how to move the county forward, what areas should we expand into, and I thought it was very fruitful and helpful for all of us as we continue to give guidance to our county managers and to set the policy going forward. And the only other comment I would have is that as we approach the Easter season, that everyone have a happy and wonderful holiday with their families, and think of those who are in need and either don't have anyone to have a meal or congregate with, or don't have the ability to even feed themselves. Thank you.
And I'll follow up on a couple of comments here. I'm always delighted, and I'll say this to Commissioner Gordon, always delighted to hear that somebody is going to look at jail funding, because anyone that looks at it with other than a jaundiced eye usually says, gee, we're spending an awful lot of property tax on jails, and maybe we ought to do something else. And so I look forward to that. And I'll echo Commissioner Jameson's comments as well about our executive session. It's a little bit of torture to make all of the county managers come to a meeting after they've had a full day of work, but they joined in enthusiastically, and one of the new issues for the county and the commission actually had to do with the ongoing housing issues in Cumberland County. Kind of the received wisdom of the ages is that if you were focusing just on the homeless population, which clusters very frequently in Portland or in Greater Portland, about a third are said to come from the city of Portland, about a third from other municipalities in Cumberland County, and then another third from the rest of Maine or elsewhere. So There's been an ongoing discussion now for a couple of years related to how to diversify the programming to assist people in that situation. It's a fascination with a problem that involves different people every day, but usually 200 or 300 people in Cumberland County who are homeless and don't find a place to camp out or a couch to sleep on, and rely on public facilities. So that was something that was discussed at length and probably will be something that we will be focusing on with the leadership really of our county manager and a couple of other people as we go along. And of course, the primary objective in that planning session is always to keep the doors open the next morning, and we've done that successfully, and hopefully we'll continue to do that. So, and spring has finally arrived, including the 6 inches of snow that we got this week. So, glad for that. And any other items? New business? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. See you next week. See you next month.
Okay, we're adjourned, Travis.